and welcome to The Modern Lady, where you'll learn how to elevate your life with elegance. I'm Devereaux. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe so that you can get an update when I've got a new video to share. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you, ladies, so much for your continued love and support for my channel. I appreciate and adore you all. Today's video is an interview in a series called Pearls of Wisdom, where I shine a spotlight on elegant women that believe in the power of style and sophistication. Today's interview guest is Laura AKANO. She's a certified etiquette consultant at Polished Manners, and I'm so delighted that she is here today to share with us some wisdom around having a classy conversation. Laura, welcome to The Modern Lady.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here.
You're welcome. We're delighted to hear from you today. So let's dive right in. Can you share with us the story behind Polished Manners and how everything came to be what it is today?
Okay. Polished Manners actually started from an idea I had several years ago when I was running after-school clubs and summer holiday camps for children. And the interaction I often had with children and parents were in such a way that I just felt that social skills were lacking in a lot of ways, particularly with the children, not knowing how to address people, not knowing how to behave properly. And that idea really stemmed from that what can I do to help young people and even maybe some adults who, for whatever reason, don't actually have the correct social skills to get on in life. So this is how the idea for Polished Manners came. But I didn't know which way to go. And after a couple of years of researching, etiquette training came into my mind. And it was more a case of, okay, most people don't like the word etiquette because it's so old-fashioned. But then it was a case of looking at it. And yes, through etiquette training, I can actually help improve social skills. I can actually help people to understand that there are certain ways to behave within a society. So this is really how Polished Manners started. And as for the name, well, yes, it took me a while in terms of, okay, what am I looking to say with the name of this particular company? Eventually, I came up with that name, and I think it's served me well. So that's really the story of Polished Manners.
I love that. And I think it's the perfect name because it definitely helps people to be more polished in their interactions and their social presence. So Laura, we do know that etiquette does tend to be, like you said, an old-fashioned word, old-fashioned concept. From your perspective, do you think that etiquette is relevant in our modern times today?
Etiquette is so relevant in modern society because we have society now where people are told, particularly young people, because I get this in a lot of my classes, oh, I've been told I can do what I want and I can, be who I want. And I say, yes, you can be who you want. You can do whatever you want as long as it's not impacting on other people negatively. So at the end of the day, we all complain about not just young people, but adults who don't know how to speak to people properly, don't know how to behave, don't know how to dress or present themselves. So yes, etiquette training more than anything is relevant nowadays. Even with employers, we're seeing it, where social skills training or soft skills training, as we might say in a corporate term, is becoming almost as important as those academic qualifications. So it really is essential nowadays, very much so. And it doesn't matter your background, your class, or wherever you come from, etiquette training is so vital to get on nowadays.
Yes, and because it's lacking in so many different areas, whether it's interacting with someone at work, in our personal lives, in society, at home, it definitely is becoming, I think, an increasing need that we have to make sure that we are making that extra effort, because now it is so very casual, this society that we are in. So I definitely agree with you there, Laura. So on Facebook, you say good manners and politeness cannot be switched on and off. What are some ways that a lady watching this interview can be inspired to always be consistently polite? I think the consistency is really the biggest challenge.
Well, those sort of ideas to me come from even when I was growing up. I come from a very middle class family in Nigeria, quite comfortable, and we would have house helps and chauffeurs and people who would help around the house. And something my parents definitely instilled in me is we would call the drivers, we used to say, we would call them uncle this, even though we're not related to them, as a sign of respect. The maid, we had to say auntie this or that because they were older than us. So where I'm coming from with that statement is that whatever position you're in, particularly people who are rich or well off, don't look down on anybody. I talk to the children, we call them school, the caretaker at school, anyone, the dinner ladies, we call them in the UK, whoever they are, because they serve you does not mean that you look down on them. And that's what I mean by consistency. If someone is serving you, a waiter at a restaurant, whatever it is, be polite, be kind. Thank you. Please, even to your own, if you have children, oh, could you please get me a glass of water? Yes, it's your child. You can ask them to do something for you. But that politeness should always come through, no matter who you're dealing with. You take your car to a garage, treat the mechanic with respect. It's just those little things. And if you practice that daily, it really becomes natural and it shows in your everyday interaction with people. Just be kind, just be polite, no matter who you are. But as I said, particularly people who are rich, I think that tends to come along, or people who you feel, I'm better off than they are, and so, they don't matter. Everybody matters. And that's one of the things I'd like to reinforce in my classes, that no matter who you are, no matter what background, no matter how elevated you are, it is very, very important to always remember that we're all humans, and it is important to respect everyone. So that's really my thinking behind some of my posts anyway.
Yes, I love that, Laura. And I think it's so important to carry that level of dignity anytime we're interacting with someone. It doesn't matter if it's a cashier or if it's a manager of a store. Everyone deserves that respect.
Very important. Very, yes.
Yes, definitely. So let's talk about some conversational skills. Why do you think, Laura, that having tact is so important in a conversation?
I think the main thing, one of the most important things in a conversation is listening. Listening to what the other person is saying. And not just listening, but understanding what they're saying. That's one thing. Secondly, a conversation is two ways. Some people have a habit of dominating conversations where the other person doesn't get a word in. So it's very vital. I actually feel that it's better to listen than to be the one that's doing most of the talking, because people that tend to listen actually gain and learn a lot more than people who always seem to be the ones dominating or talking all the time. So those are the two key essentials that I would say: the listening skills and participating, and being able to follow what that person is saying, because people listen but they don't exactly hear what someone is saying. So there's a danger there as well.
Yes, the listening and participating. I often think of a conversation like a tennis match, and when the ball is over the court on someone else's side, they are going to hit it back. And so when we have that visual, when we have that visual, it really helps for us to think about how we're interacting with others in the most respectful and tactful way. And I think that's really good wisdom for us to remember, to always listen more than we are speaking. That's something I talk about a lot as well. And I think it just really helps you to gain that level of understanding, to really truly see something else from someone else's perspective. And so that's the best way you can definitely carry a conversation. So Laura,
yes.
So Laura, there's a lot of women watching this interview that would describe themselves as introverted and kind of shy. What would be your advice for just a few tips that these ladies watching this interview can be a little bit more polished in a conversation?
Okay, confession time. I definitely identify as being introverted, and certainly my relatives would tell you that I can be quite a shy person as well. So if I can do what I'm doing, then I think most ladies can certainly do it. It's really about confidence in yourself. Okay, you're going to meet people for the first time. Not many people like networking or going to a social gathering and being able to just go up to people and talk to people. But one of the things you can do to help yourself is prepare. So, for instance, if you're going to a wedding, perhaps you know the bride and groom, then already you have an advantage over maybe some of the other guests. So you're sitting with someone. It's so easy to maybe look at what they're wearing and pick something out and say, oh, I love the color of your scarf, or I love the color of your tie or your brooch. That's a conversation starter. Most people will warm to that. And these are skills I've had to learn as well, So starting out from that, most people will warm up, and then from there you can go on, how do you know the bride and groom or something like that. And you just keep asking those leading questions, and gradually you find people relax or maybe talk about the decor or just the table setting, and think of something around to do with the event. Definitely not to start talking about yourself. If you make it about the other person, most likely you're going to get a very good reaction, and a conversation starts from that. So that's one of the things I would recommend to ladies. Don't be shy. Just look for something. A compliment is always a good way of talking, or maybe the event, something nice about the event, and that really often starts a conversation. And that's what I would recommend.
That's beautiful. And I think that's so important for us to remember. Thank you for sharing that, Laura. Anytime we're in that conversation, if we can make the focus about someone else, that will help it to flow a lot easier.
It does. It does. That's from experience as well.
Yes. We all have to learn these lessons. And so it's really valuable to have the insight and the wisdom before you're in a situation. So now you know how to start a conversation the next time you're sitting at a gala or a wedding event and you're just enjoying the ambiance. When you've got someone on your left or your right that you don't know, you can gracefully just start a conversation with them and keep it going as you're enjoying that time together. So Laura, I know putting others at ease is so important, and that's really one of the, I would say, main benefits of etiquette is being able to make others feel comfortable and feel at ease. So for a lady that wants to gracefully put others at ease in a conversation, how can she do that, especially in the workplace?
Okay. In a workplace, it can be difficult, obviously, with colleagues, depending on your relationship with people. But simple things like saying good morning when you're going home, saying have a good evening or good night, those little things do make a difference. Because a lot of people, I wouldn't necessarily say make friends with people at work, but to start a relationship with a colleague at work, or at least a relationship that's cordial, greetings can be the first way to start. Then maybe you go to get a tea or coffee. You ask them, would you like a tea or coffee, or would you like some water? Little things like that, I think, are the things that can build a relationship with a cordial relationship with your colleagues at work. And another thing is having consideration. Open plan offices in particular, it's very important that if someone's, not to encroach on other people's spaces and give them their personal space. So for instance, going to stand over someone at their desk might not be so well appreciated, and perhaps someone who has an office, without you not knocking and just opening the door, just little things like that, I believe make a difference. Just showing respect to your colleagues and not invading their private space is very important at work.
Yes. And those are just a few simple ways to carry yourself with grace and also put others at ease, especially in the office, in the work environment, which sometimes can be quite a challenge. It's definitely not easy. So, Laura, I'm curious, who is your favorite elegant role model and why?
Ah, um, I think there are a few that I can certainly think of, and I don't know whether it's appropriate to mention names. I think certain members of the royal family, particularly the Duchess of Cambridge, is one because I think she's always very, very well dressed, and often I quite like her style as well. So she's one person that I could mention, and not sort of going too far into other people, but that's certainly someone that I think is a very elegant lady.
Yes, I have to agree with you there, Laura. I absolutely adore the Duchess of Cambridge. I think Catherine Middleton is really inspirational. I love that she has such an elegant presence, and her style is definitely admired, I would say, around the world.
It is, and very effortless as well.
Yes, effortless elegance. I would agree
That's
with you
that's
there.
what it should be.
Yes. So, Laura, what is one piece of timeless advice, or as I like to call it, one pearl of wisdom that you live by every single day?
Right. I have a few, but one of the things I live by every single day is to be grateful and thankful for each moment, for each day that you're alive. Okay, so no matter what's going on, no matter what the situation, if I'm alive, I'm well, my family are alive and well, then an attitude of gratitude is something I've been working on for some time, and I think I'm finally getting there. Always be appreciative, always be grateful for who you are, for what you have and where you are. Sometimes we look, oh, I'd like to be this, I'd like to be that. But what we forget is that there are people who are also looking up to where you are and thinking, oh, I'd like to be like him or her. I'd like to be where they are. So, an attitude of gratitude, I think, is so important. It gives peace, I feel, and it also helps you to enjoy life more. So etiquette encompasses a lot of things, and I think that's one of the things we really need to work on as well. Being grateful, being appreciative of what where we are and what we have.
I love that. Having a heart of gratitude is incredibly important in a life of elegance. And it really is all about finding that joy and being able to carry that level of appreciation for a new day, for all the little things in your life. And so I think that's a beautiful pearl of wisdom. Thank you for sharing.
You're
Well,
welcome.
Laura, where are the best places for ladies to find you online?
Right. I'm on Instagram at polished manners at polished manners. I'm on Instagram. I am on Facebook as well, and not so active on Twitter, but I'm on Twitter as well. So, and I have a website as well. So polishedmanners.co.uk. People can find more information about me.
Perfect. And ladies, I do have the links to all of Laura's websites and social media platforms in the description below so you can follow her and get some amazing pearls of wisdom to continue adding polish to your life as well. Well, Laura, thank you so much for being on The Modern Lady. It was a pleasure to interview you today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I had a lovely time, and it's just been great talking to you as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, ladies, as we are wrapping up this interview today, I would love to know from you in a comment below, what is your favorite conversation starter? What is a topic or a question that you like to use to start a conversation with someone new that you're just meeting for the first time? Share a comment below and we will keep the conversation going. As always, thank you for tuning into my channel. I hope you enjoyed this interview. It gave you some insight and some pearls of wisdom for when you are carrying classy conversations. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up to share some YouTube love. And I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Bye for now.